It's funny how you
He's
mentioned for
out.
extra.
Yeah.
I was in Oklahoma State with him.
Oh, really?
He has a Crip tattoo on his chest, and I did a video about it.
Oh, shit, really?
I gave him that tattoo gun to use. That I was active at the time. He used to work out with me.
Really?
Yeah, so I made the video about him, but I never said nothing bad about him. But he was in the hole for, I think he beat up one of his enemies,
Mm.
and I was in a hole for trying to stab a Southsider from San Jose. And then me and him were there. Like he was like 2 cages over, he'd bust down with us, but then afterwards he'd talk to the blacks, he'd politic with blacks. And then he was there with me when like Oklahoma prison had a tornado hit the building.
Whoa.
So I was like maybe 8 months in the hole with that dude. And we talked a lot, so it's like
That
I
must
know
have been-
why he won't acknowledge me now.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not part of the gang life no more.
Oh, okay.
So he's never really said it, never just nothing. But I gave him my respect.
To be
but,
fair, he don't really like talk about anybody for the most part. Like he don't really. I don't even know if he really watches YouTube that much.
well, the way he is on camera is the way he was in prison.
Yeah.
I can say that. Wes can't say the same thing, but for 4 extra, I was like, dude, that dude hasn't changed one bit.
Really?
Loves his gang.
Wait, so you were locked up with Wes Watson too?
And Arizona,
Oh my god.
2008.
How was that?
Well, he wasn't who he says he was.
You say it was the shot caller, right?
Nah, he wasn't that. Because look, when I was in Arizona, I showed up. I was only on my 3rd year in prison, so I didn't have a lot of. It's called a rank and file. For Northerners, it's called rank and file. Rank and file means you outrank certain people.
Mhm.
So I had status as gang leadership, but I hadn't had rent or prison yet. I was still being molded. So I have a cellie who was from Porterville at the time. He was actually a big homie, and he was like, "Look, I'm gonna be oversight because you need to build your resume. So you need to take over this prison." Now it's not like the ideal leadership like everybody thinks it is. It's you in a prison running 60 inmates at the time. It was Northerners. And then you had whites and Southerners in a different pod. All the gang leadership that's in prison are going to communicate with one another. So I had to communicate with Southsiders and I had to communicate with the white leadership. He wasn't the white leadership at that time. And I stood in there from 2008 to 2011 while he was out there getting his buff on. I interacted with Southsiders. I interacted with the whites. He was just a regular inmate. So I was like, kind of when I heard about him, I was like, I don't remember you out of state, bro. And I was actually gang leadership. Even when I went to Oklahoma and was interacting with Southsiders and whites and we programmed together, I was familiar with all the gang leadership there. It's not hard to tell in prison who's gang leadership and who's not. His name never rang a bell while I was out there. Now, maybe if I left in 2011 and he inspired to become somebody big, then I can't speak on that. But his paperwork is online at A Convert's Perspective on what year he was there in Arizona. He put him on blast. And I have the same paperwork where I was in that same facility at that time. And like I said, his name didn't come up because I can honestly speak from my personal experience. My Norteño leadership wasn't nothing like the Southsiders and whites because we were isolated and getting beat up a lot. But I had to interact with these guys, and it wasn't him, and it sure now it wasn't no Southsiders that were that you see famous here. These were convicted felons that were there for long terms.
Damn. So you think he's like actually misrepresenting himself, or is it possible that he's just two different perspectives?
I think with social media, you could be whoever you want to be. I mean, look at me. I've talked about my past, but I'm just known as the biggest dropout with the biggest mouth. But I'm just me. I haven't changed nothing. I'm just a renegade media who does content, who's very humble. Social media, you can be who you want to be because nobody can really check your credentials, and even if they do make you look bad, and you're put on blast, your paperwork's posted online, like people come to see you as a content creator. So him being successful as he is, yeah, of course I want to be that kind of success. Not his prison status, but the success that he has as a millionaire.
But the amount of like scrutiny that he gets now, with like so many people making videos about him and trying to disprove every part of his life, and people showing up to his gym and all this shit, is kind of like you see what comes with, especially in this day and age, of like trying to like create this persona around yourself, that if you try to like really be this like viral character, the people are just gonna line up to tear you down.
It's gonna back up. They do it to me before. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it to me because of this interview. But before that, they always done it to me. But then I was just like, I've been myself this whole time. I was a gang leader who got beat up by his homies, who got stabbed on a tier, who joined a dropout gang to go against his own gang. Then my own gang went against me. I've just stuck by that reputation. Now a lot of people don't even see me as a dropout. They just see me as 5'9" He's a renegade media. He just creates content. But for the gang world, of course, I'm always going to be under scrutiny. For him, I think it backfired, but it hasn't taken nothing from him. I don't know if he's losing all his wealth and all that, but you know, some people don't care if he lied or if he fabricated or he added extras to it. People care like, man, this dude's a crazy personality. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to social media, you could be anybody. But a lot of people choose to be somebody other than themselves. And I think that's when it backfires the most.
For sure. Just to go back to the other thing, were you surprised that 4 Extra ended up blowing up and being viral and having all these crazy moments online and stuff? Or
no, like that dude's reckless as hell, bro. Like who holds a? I'm not holding no damn M80 M100 in my hand. Man. I ain't doing nothing that silly to jeopardize myself. But as for his music, off the back, you know that he did viral. You know, you got to give credit what credit's due. Whatever he did, it worked, dude. I'd watch his videos when he was on No Jumper, and I'd be like, bro, this boy murdered it with 100,000 views and just talking, you know, reckless, talking nonsense.
Yeah.
I give the man his credit, man. He is who he is, and he, like I said, but I knew him in prison. He's the same version, bro. That man hasn't changed, so he's actually being his authentic self to me.
Nah, facts. So, okay, what, like, okay, describe. Wait, you said you were 7 years sober?
7 years sober, 2000.
So you got out 2020, but you got sober in 2018 or so?
2018.
So basically, like, you were doing, what were you primarily doing? Meth?
Heroin.
The whole time you were locked up, and was that something you were doing on the streets too, or it just started once you got in there?
On the streets, I was doing like weed and meth.
Okay.
And then once you start seeing how people act in prison, like it's like you're like, I hated that drug. I was like, bro, all these fools want to do is just jack off like 10 hours a day, bro, just ripping their
on meth. It's like that,
dude. It's like all you do is get horny in jail. And I've seen cellies mess with their cellies because they were horny, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So I had a cellie from San Jose. Because I always thought heroin was a Southsider drug. Because I'd always see, when I was active, I see Southsiders nodding off and slamming a needle. And
bro,
like,
you said in one of the interviews, I was like sitting next to my girl listening to on my headphones, and you just said, yeah, I walk in and I see 4 Southsiders sitting around a table, and they're all passing around a needle, like all shooting up with the same needle. And I'm just like, bro, I had to tell her. She's like, you don't gotta tell me shit like that. Like, it's just like the grossest mental image of passing a needle around like a backwood.
Because you told Lena?
Yeah, because I just heard you say it, and I told her, and she's just like, you don't gotta tell me that. That's disgusting. Like, what the fuck?
Before you get all prejudgmental, I did the same thing when I got on the heroin, dude. Like, it was bad.
What's the logic? It's just like the needle, it's not actually that dirty?
No, there ain't no logic to it. We're being scumbags.
I was just wondering. I'm like, my whole life, I thought like you should never use the same needle as somebody else. And then I heard you say that. I'm like, is it that bad? I guess maybe it's not that bad.
Nah, bro. It's just, it's a rare thing to get a hold of. And that's the best way to get high off heroin or meth.
Yeah.
Like, you can snort it. It's cool. But when you hit that vein and it rushes you, like, instantaneous, it's changing.
I've seen it in so many movies and songs and shit over the years that I feel like I know what it's like. Like, I've talked to so many people who talk about it. I'm glad I haven't done it.
Until you experience it, bro. Like, heroin was like a kiss from heaven.
Ugh.
Especially like when you're still slamming it and it's still going in and you're already getting high. You're just kind of like, it's a crazy adrenaline rush. But I had a homie from San Jose because, like I said, I thought heroin was a Southside drug. I was like, man, these Southsiders are dirty fools. Like, I looked at myself as superior over Southsiders back then. So he brings it to me and he's like, bro, this you should try. So the first experience was crap. I was throwing up. I was damn near crying. My stomach was hurting. But then after the second time I did it, heroin became my drug, and I did that for 8 whole years straight. Anytime there was heroin on the yard, I was nodding off, and it was hard to kick. But I was like, I'm coming home now, bro. Like, I got 2 years to the pad, bro. Like, I didn't think I was ever coming home.
Would you go long periods without being able to get it ever, or was it pretty consistent?
It was consistent. Yeah. The ones that bring it in the most are Southsiders and ex-Southsiders on the SNY. They had all the plugs, so. I had a homeboy from Hayward at the time. He brought it in. He was bringing in that gas, that fentanyl stuff when it first hit. And people were just like ODing and wanting that drug. They were like, bro, where's that at, bro? Tell your homie to hook it up. I'm like, y'all want to die? Like, I want the regular black. I don't want this cut stuff. Southsiders brought it in the most. Maybe I'll go like a weekend or 2 without it. But there's too much money to be made on those yards for you not to bring in drugs. So the drugs were there on a consistent basis.
And how much money were you making, like, to be able to afford that? Because it's pretty expensive in there, right?
Well, when I was buying it, it's like $100 a paper.
Okay.
$100 to get me through the weekend.
Okay.
I spent a couple $100. But when I started bringing it in before I got busted, you know, you can make about like $5 to $7 grand off just a zip of heroin.
Holy shit.
And I did it for like 8 months, but I was doing it through a teacher, and I got busted. Me, my cellie, and the teacher got busted, and I went to the hole for a little bit, and that's when I was like, that's when I hurt the worst, because I imagine doing like 5 grams of heroin a week, and then your whole pipeline gets took. I was sick. I was skinny. Felt like I was dying every day.
Do you know what kind of charges the teacher got hit with?
Introducing contraband to the facility.
Yeah.
And me and my cellie, they got us under conspiracy for 8 months, but they only found me with cell phones. They didn't find the drugs on us.
Oh, okay.
So they got us for the cell phones. They got him for conspiracy. They introduced prison contraband, which is like 3 years probation. But they knew we were bringing in all kinds of heroin and meth. But we were just getting so high that when they busted us, like, we didn't have no drugs. We were when they busted us, we were waiting for that following Tuesday to get more dope in, so we had no drugs. But they caught me with like 2 cell phones, 2 touch screens. And then we went to the hole, and then they kicked me off that yard because of that.
Wow, that's crazy.
But 5 grams a week, I was just slamming in my veins. Just didn't eat, drink Kool-Aid all day, and just slam dope.
Damn, so you were like super rail thin and shit. You couldn't eat.
I remember one of some inmate walked up and he wanted some dope, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you look like a Simpson character, bro. You're hella yellow, bro. Like, you dehydrated or something." And I was like, I don't feel like it. And I just kept looking at myself that day. I was like, "Am I yellow, bro? Do I look yellow?" Like, but then I looked at my arms. I had like 13 holes over here, 5 holes over here, holes on my hands, holes in my neck from hitting my vein. Like, it was a bad time.
And there's like no serious effort by the COs to like eliminate the heroin that's being brought in or anything. It's just kind of, they just accept it. Could they if they wanted to, or is it?
No, they can, but they wait. They play this waiting game. They want to see you get busted with like big stuff. They don't want to see you busted with like, oh, just a here little gram. They don't want to do paperwork for that.
Right.
So the cops usually just tell like the investigative unit, like, "Hey, we think these fools are bringing it in. There's a lot of traffic at the cell," and then they'll wait like months, and then they'll bust you with like, you're bringing in like 2 or 3 zips, and then those are the big cases for them. Those are the big wins. But there's been times where I've been nodding off, have an empty spoon right there, and the CO's like, "Hey, man, put the curtain up." I'm like, "All right," and I put the curtain up, and I just nod off. Like, they know we're high. They just don't want to do paperwork, so they don't want you. As long as you're not fighting, and you're in a cell and the door ain't opening, they don't care what the hell you do in your cell. So I would just leave the needle on my locker. I leave a spoon with a cotton right there full of dope, so when I wake up, I can hit another shot. They just walk right past you. As long as you're there in the cell and you're accounted for, they don't really care. The COs in California do not care about what we do.
But have you seen that change throughout your life? Because I heard you talking in one interview about how basically like you saw it kind of go from a world in which the COs took everything super serious and they were trying to bust you for everything and they were beating the shit out of people, et cetera, to the point where it's different, where they just kind of, and you haven't been locked up for like 13 years or whatever, but you're super in touch with all these people who are. Like, what do you think that change is, that they just don't care about being, aggressive and prosecuting every last crime and shit?
A lot of the COs are involved in it. I feel like the COs, and you can learn a lot from Hector Bravo's channel because he was an ex-correctional officer. A lot of the COs, they became just like the inmates. Like, violence entertains them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They don't care about the drugs. They know it's going by. Some of them can make some money off it. There was a cop in Tehachapi. He'd bring in phones, but when he wanted to, when he felt like it was safe. So we just wait. We would wait like 3 or 4 months, and he would just show up and be like, "Hey, man, here, give me these numbers." And then we get him the numbers, and then he wouldn't even tell us when we were getting the phones. He would just sit there and be like, "All right, I got the money. I'll let you know." And it'd be like another couple more weeks, and we're over here like, "Man, I'm going to stab this cop, bro. That was $3,000. And then the cop would just drop it off right there, and they'll find ways to make money off it, get their issue, and just walk away. I think the cop just stopped caring because they can't stop us.
Yeah.
If there's a will, there's a way in jail. We'll figure out a way. Now they're using drones, dropping it off. People are bringing in like Tennessee whiskey in there, Patron bottles in prison.
What the fuck? It's like bottle service.
Yeah, dude, you can get a cell phone, get caught with it, and have a cell phone by that afternoon again.
Wow.
It's that easy because there's so much money to be made. The cops can't stop it no more. So now there's just like, we're just here to do our job. Y'all want to kill each other? Y'all want to die off these drugs? Go right on ahead. We're going to go home at the end of the day. They just stopped caring after like 2015.
Really? And there's, yeah, I mean, you know what that reminds me of is how you hear a lot of people say that like I've heard like high school teachers say this, that like nowadays it's like you can't even like correct the behavior of a young kid because their brains are so fried by social media and TikTok and shit that they just don't care about anything. So if you threaten them with punishment or whatever, they're just kind of like, whatever. If you give them detention or whatever, they're just not going. They're just like, they just don't give a fuck. Like, it's just, they've kind of like given up. They realize how pointless everything is. And it feels like in some way that's like the same transformation that some of these CEOs go through.
It is. A lot of the cops, they don't care if we stab each other. They don't care if we're hot. They don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
I think they're just so used to working in the prison systems. And now with these big homies walking the yard, they're like even more fear because this big homie can say kill a cop and these guys got to kill a cop. So now there's been CEOs I talk to that live in constant fear. Like, bro, I don't even want to go to work because I'm afraid of what these gang members are going to do to me. They're just there to do their job. Everything in the system got watered down where prison society pretty much runs everything. Cops don't even care no more.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, but I'm glad I'm out because I'm free. Now I don't got to worry about that. I just tell the stories on YouTube, make my money, and I go to bed in my own bed. Wake up and eat my own food. I ain't got to worry about my bunkie stabbing me or strangling me with a extension cord. Like, those days are gone for me.
Everything 420 really is that one-stop shop. Whether you're looking for your go-to gear or something new and unexpected, they got options for days, and they're always dropping mystery boxes and deals. The E420 app is clean, shipping is quick, and they literally have everything. Don't forget to use code NOJUMPER at checkout.